Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk about a book that I just finished and I decided to do a full review on it. So that is going to be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. If you cannot see, there's a little bit of a reason that these are up here and in front of my other books. This is a science fiction book about a rebellion that happens on Mars because the world has gone to a place in which we have roamed the stars. The Earth has sent people to Mars so that they could terraform it, and we follow Darrow, the main character, who is a hell diver, and he is a miner on Mars trying to get helium-6, which is an element used for terraforming Mars, and they're in the bowels of Mars searching for all of these stuff so that they can be the pioneers to bring the rest of the Earth and all the people to Mars so that they can escape the dying world that is planet Earth. Darrow gets in trouble for crossing a boundary into a place that he should not have and is punished by the people above him, the people at the top of the tier. He is a red, which is the bottom miners, the pioneers, and at the top is the golds. And he gets punished by the golds and stuff goes down and he has to go on this kind of epic journey to join the rebellion to try and fight this caste system. Now that's all I'm going to say for the non-spoilery section because that's, I know that seems kind of just like, oh, it's a rebellious story. There's a lot of those. We can just read that whenever. This is so much different. Pierce Brown goes so far into detail and just his words are like, it's such a well-told story. You think it's gonna go one way, it's not even that long, you guys, and it just seemed like, oh, it's gonna be a short book, I can get through it. This changed my way of reading right now, and it has all of the elements that I absolutely love in books. It's kind of like a step towards high fantasy, but it's not because of the depth of the plot and the character arcs and everything that happens. So much happens in this book and you don't even think that there will be because it's not that long, you guys, like I said, but it's a trilogy and just go read it. So if you haven't read this book, you need to leave and come back after you have read it and so that we can discuss it in the comments because it's amazing, you guys. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. That should tell you something. Hello, welcome back, people who have read this book and or continued on to the rest of the books. As you know, because you've read this book, it's amazing. I was just picking this up in between books. I am currently in the middle of like 4 different series. I'm like stuck in the middle of quite a few of them, and for some reason I picked this up. Well, not this physical copy, I actually have it on audiobook, and for me it's easier to read books when I'm like walking to and from class, and when I'm at work I can just pop it in my ear and listen to it, and the narrator is Scottish. And it's amazing. I didn't know he was like going into it. I hadn't done a whole bunch of research about this. It was a good deal from Goodreads and it was like $1 for an audiobook, which if you guys listen to audiobooks, you know that they're normally like $23 to $30 and that's a steal. So I went on and got it, and I know that it's just the first book, but I started listening to it and you guys, listening to that audiobook is amazing. That guy is so talented with his accents, and so Darrow has a Scottish accent, and like everybody around him, group of Lycos in the bowels of Mars, and so they're like this Scottish thing, and then when he goes through the transformation he has to become a gold, and golds obviously have a higher caliber accent. They sound like stuffy people that are, oh, just have high lingo and they need to be speaking high gold slang. Even the slang is different. Like for red, they just say like bloody damn and oh hell and stuff like that. And when he's trying to become a gold, they have to change. It's so cool that they change that and they're just like gory damn and slag that. Oh, you can't say bloody damn. They will know. So if you want to start reading this book, I really recommend the audiobook. Hopefully you can get it for sale or something, but it's definitely worth it, at least to start off, because you also get a lot of the pronunciations of how things are, and it's really cool just hearing everybody's voice how the narrator says it. So I'm talking about this book. First I'm going to go through the world that Pierce Brown built, and it's wonderful. I haven't read that many science fiction books. I've mostly focused on like fantasy. That's really what I love, and the completely new world building. But I love space, and I like The Martian was awesome, and I love learning about like space things, and so I was really interested in this. And the world that he builds is so amazing just because it's still our world, but it could be, you know, something in the future. There's a possibility. So you're still using things that all of us know instead of having to create an entirely new world and explain to us all of the inner workings of it, but using Mars and using things like a drill or like a cavern and like showing the town that's underground. And it's just so rich, the history of it, and like learning more about the war and how the Golds overcame everything and why they're at the top, and because he doesn't introduce it at the beginning. A lot of authors, when they introduce the like hierarchy of the world, they're normally just like, oh, by the way, Golds are this because of this, that's why they're so cool. But we didn't really get that until Darrow went through the transformation and was actually realizing that I was like, oh, gory damn, these people are strong. And he's like, there's a reason that they're superior to us, or they are superior to us, because their bone density and their neural synapses and their vision and their teeth and like everything and their muscles are just like actually superior to everybody else, which is why it's so hard to get there. So on to the transformation, which is so cool. Mickey was an interesting character. It was one of the cool side characters that you got to know, but like watching him go through his transformation was awesome, and that it wasn't just easy. Obviously you can't have somebody that's like, ooh, this main character is perfect. We found him and his wife sacrificed for him and he's gonna be the victor of everything. He had struggles. Obviously he's strong enough to be able to do this. He's a helldiver. He's the best and youngest helldiver in Lycos on Mars in history. But it's just so awesome seeing that and like having all of those little details of how they like regrafted his skin and his tendons and like changed the bone density and put him in high grav instead of low grav to adjust to Mars so that he'd actually be even stronger than a Gold. And all of those things, like whenever I'm reading a book, I think of how the author had come up with this, like, because I've thought about writing my own stories, and so trying to imagine all of those little details and having them in my brain just as like backstory and like back history, not having to write it, but knowing that that is why this is this and that is that. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you should, because first of all, he's one of the most attractive, I think he was voted like the most attractive YA author something. He's not too bad on the eyes, but he also shows like his writing process, and so some of his pictures you get to see like his journals and scribbles and stuff that he's written out, and he's created all of these sigils and all of the symbols for all of the different like houses during the institution, and then also for like the reds to golds and what they mean. Like you can see in this, they have all of the sigils for everything, like all of the houses. They're so cool. And obviously we know that the unknown house is going to be the house of the Reaper. Yes. I approve so much of this. So when I was putting it in on Goodreads, one of the people that I follow, I'm not going to say her name, but she reviews a lot of different books, and she had reviewed this one and only gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And I understand some of her criticisms. She was talking about how Darrow is such a blah character. Darrow is presented as such a character that is like, he's an average Joe and relatable, like he's in his town of Lycos and everybody loves him, he's part of this family, but then he also has these heroic capabilities that nobody else can do anything about. He's the only person that can be a Gold. He's like the helldiver of Lycos, and then is the Reaper of the Gold. And I understand that, but Pierce Brown does such a good job in having him go through such human qualities as well, and like going through the trauma of Eo's death and having that in his heart, and like learning through the vengeance, and then going through the Gold transformation, becoming smarter, but being able to use his capabilities as a Red to move him up through the Gold ranks. And I absolutely loved it. Another one of the criticisms was that it was just kind of a inspirational story always, and that they always like say things, and they used one of the quotes when Darrow was talking to his army when he first started building it. You might be looking for the strongest person. I'm not the strongest. Pax is. You might be looking to follow the smartest person. I'm not the strongest. Mustang is. But you might be looking for somebody who knows what they're doing. I can do that because you don't know where you're going. I do. I absolutely love things like that. I used to, when I was a kid, sit on the swings in the summer and create all of those thoughts in my head and like all of those speeches. For some reason I loved, like, wanted to have a rebellion. And so I would always just like start repeating these speeches in my head of somebody who is overcoming the masses and joining a fight, and somebody who is rallying people to come after them and to fight them to the glory of whatever. And I would like keep repeating them in my head until I could write them down. So I absolutely love that kind of writing that like gets you up and gets you moving and makes you want to go and do something. And that's pretty much like a lot of what this is, and I can't get enough of it, and I'm so excited to start Golden Sun. Like as I was reading it, I kept being like, oh okay, so oh, he's turning into a gold. Oh okay, so he's the Golden Sun. I get it. Haha, that's so funny. And then he went to the institution and then like had to do stuff and and didn't realize until the end when Augustus was like, I'm going to make you part of my family. You're going to be my Lancer. And then that's why he's the Golden Sun, and I'm so excited to see why it's called Morning Star, and so that I can just get through them. I just have to get to finals week, and then I can finish them, and I'm so excited, you guys. Pierce Brown also just writes such deep characters. I mean, we kind of fell in love with all of them and were able to see the different arcs, like Darrow and Io. She played such a story even though she died really early on. Like, she played Persephone and then made that connection between him and Mustang. You got to see him make brothers with Roque and Cassius, and then have that, like, terror of Cassius finding out about Julian, and then they did, and having everybody just ebb and flow, and so much happened in this book that I wasn't expecting, and I absolutely love it, because you went from Mars, underneath Mars, in the mines, to with the son of Ares, with Dancer, and then to Mickey when he's becoming a gold, and then you go to him taking all of his exams and like passing into the institution, going to the institution, having to go through the passage and kill Julian, and then going to the institute in Aegea and like murder everybody. Well, not murder everybody, but like, you know, you read it. And all of the like alliances that were broken and then mended, and like him kind of castrating Pax in their first battle, and then Pax throwing himself on Darrow to save him from the jackal, and just he knows how to write people, and he knows how to write a story, and I am a huge fan of it, and I hope that you guys are too, and if this doesn't convince you to continue reading, I don't know what will. I don't even know if they'll continue to be this up to par, but I'm hoping so, and I hope that Pierce Brown will continue with, if not this series, then something else. So those are my thoughts for Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know that I was a little flamboyant about it, but it was exciting and I couldn't stop talking about it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!